Hello students, this is the final topic of chapter 4 moving charges and magnetism, that is MCG, not Melbourne Cricket Ground but moving coil galvanometer. So we already know about galvanometer. What is meant by galvanometer? What is the purpose of galvanometer? Galvanometer is a device which is used to measure or detect small current which is flowing in a circuit, which we studied in second chapter, current electricity. Okay, that chapter I think. So the principle behind galvanometer is, here we use moving coil galvanometer, which is work under the principle of torque on a current loop placed in magnetic field. So just previously we studied one topic, torque. What is the formula for torque? Tau equal to M cross B, or we can say instead of M, tau equal to NIAB. Okay. So when we place a magnetic loop or current loop inside the magnetic field, then that loop experience torque, rotational force. So this moving coil galvanometer work under that principle. Okay. So here we have a coil of many turns placed in magnetic field, which means we have a coil which consists of many turns, okay, n number of turns, and we place it in magnetic field. So when the current to be measured, which means we pass some current through this coil, our purpose is we have to find how much current is flowing in the circuit. So how much current we are giving, that we have to find. Okay, so that current is passed inside this coil, through this coil. A torque acts on a coil which rotates the coil. Okay, so when current flowing through the coil, what will happen? The current loop will behave as a magnet, right? So it has a magnetic field, then it experiences torque, which we studied in last class. Okay, when current carrying loop placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a torque. So we have a loop inside the magnetic field and we pass the current. Because of the current, some magnetic field is created. Because of the current, that loop behaves as a magnet, so which experience a torque, right? So this is the basic principle behind moving coil galvanometer. We use a pointer scale to obtain this deflection of coil. So because of the current flowing, the pointer gets deflected. Okay, so we know the construction of simple galvanometer, right? Here we have 0, on the both side we have readings. Right, here we have pointer. So because of current flowing, the pointer gets deflected either right side or left side based on the direction of current. Okay, so by this pointer, by observing this pointer, we can able to get the readings from this galvanometer, how much current is flowing in the circuit. So for that we use a pointer and a scale. So this is our scale to obtain the deflection of coil. The coil get deflected, or we can say moving along the scale. If we give more current, then we get more torque. So what is the relation between current and torque? We know tau equal to M cross B, or we can say tau equal to, instead of M we can write IAB, right? So when we give more current, we get more torque. So when we give more current to the coil, it will get more torque. It will tends to rotate more, get more rotational force. Okay, so if the coil rotate more, then the pointer which is attached in this galvanometer deflect more. Okay, it will move more because of more current. So here what is cause and effect? Here cause is our current. So current is the reason for the deflection of coil. So effect is deflection, or we can say the input is current, output is deflection of coil. Here deflection is not linear deflection, linear displacement. If it is linear displacement, then we use the symbol x, right, for linear displacement. For velocity we use dx by dt, right? So this is not a linear displacement but angular displacement. For angular displacement we use theta. So here the input is current. Because of this current, the pointer get deflected on the scale. So the deflection is theta. The construction will be very simple. Okay, this is wire and here we have two plug. So this wire connected with the coil. So this is our coil which has n number of turns. This coil connected with a spring and it ends here. So here we have two radial magnet, the magnet which is in the shape of cylinder. So this is the top view of the magnet. When you look from the top, we have this curve, right? If it is a cylinder shape, then you will get this curve if you look from the top. For example, consider a glass. Okay, if you see the glass from the top, you get a circle, right? You get a circle. So that glass is in the shape of cylinder. Okay, so here we get the same cylindrical magnet. This is the top view of magnet. So this is the north pole and this is our south pole. So magnetic field line starts from north to south. This is thin wire and coil spring. Two cylindrical magnets which produce uniform magnetic field. So this coil is placed inside the uniform magnetic field. Here we give some supply. Because of this supply, current is flowing through this thin wire and it flows through the coil. Okay, so because of current flowing through the coil as well as coil placed in a magnetic field, uniform magnetic field, this coil will experience a torque. So this is the simple construction of moving coil galvanometer. The current to be measured sent to the coil, a torque acts on the coil. So here we give some current. Because of that current which is given to this coil, a torque will act on this coil. So due to this torque, the coil will starts to rotate. Okay, it starts to twist. So what is the formula for torque? Tau equal to N I A B sin theta. Okay, here N means number of turns, total number of turns. That coil have number of turns. Okay, so we can write a definition of formula. N number of turns, I current, what is A? Area of coil, then B magnetic field, theta. What is theta? Angle between area and magnetic field. Okay, very important term. Angle between area and magnetic field. Clear? We rewrite this equation. Tau equal to, instead of NIA, we take M B sin theta. Okay, so as the coil rotate, the spring as well as wire will starts to twist. It is very clear. If you see the construction, this is coil, okay, wire and spring. If I rotate the coil, then the wire will automatically twisted, right? And the spring will also get twisted. Just imagine, we have wire and coil and spring. So if you rotate this spring, then what will happen? This wire will automatically get rotated. For example, consider a simple pendulum. In that simple pendulum, we have thread, right? So consider a situation, instead of thread, we have a metal wire, a thin fine metal wire. Okay, so if you take this brass bob and twist it and you rotate it, what will happen to the metal wire? The metal wire will start to rotate like this, right? So when you twist this brass bob, the metal wire will also get twisted, right? So similar situation happening here. When the coil gets twisted, when the coil gets torque, rotational force, it experiences the rotation. Because of this rotation of coil, the thin wire also get rotated. Okay, and the spring also get rotated. So when it starts to rotate, then it experiences a force, or it stores a force. That force is known as torsional force or restoring torque. Okay, for example, consider another situation. In our school, we have correspondent room. When you enter into that correspondent room, we push the door, right? So that door, when you push the door and if you leave it, the door will again come to its original position, because some spring is attached bottom of the door. While they fix the door, they give some tension to the door. Okay, some spring tension. So when you open the door and you leave it, the door will automatically close. Why? Because of that spring tension, right? So if you push the door slightly, then the door will come smoothly. When you open the door fully open the door. If you open the door fully and you leave it, what will happen? The door will come very fast and it shut the door, right? Why? Because of the spring tension, because of the torsional. Okay, sir, some restoring torque acts on the spring of the door. Because of that restoring torque, the door can be able to close on its own. We need not to shut the door. Once you open, you have to give some force. Why? Because the spring is attached. So you have to give some force to open the door. When you open the door, fully open the door, then you take your hand, the door will automatically close. Why? Because some restoring torque stored inside the door, inside the spring of the door, that restoring torque push the door back to its original position. So here also same thing happen. When the torque is acts on the coil, it stores some, the coil, the thin wire as well as spring have some or store some energy. That is known as restoring torque. Okay, it experience or it store restoring torque. Because of that restoring torque, the pointer gets deflected once and again it comes to its original position. So this is the original position of the pointer. Okay, this is the mean position of the pointer. So when we give some current, in order to measure the current, the pointer will move either right side or left side. For example, I give small amount of current, for example 0.1 milliampere. So the pointer get deflected to 1. Okay, and if you take the wire or if you cut the connection, what will happen? The pointer will again go to the 0 position. Clear? I give more current, for example 0.4 milliampere. The pointer comes here, right? So when we cut the current or I disconnect the connection, then what will happen? The pointer will again go to the mean position. So in order to keep the pointer in its mean position, some torque is acting on the pointer. That torque is known as restoring torque. So without restoring torque, the pointer cannot able to go its mean position. Similarly, without the restoring torque which is stored on the spring, the door cannot able to close on its own. Okay, the door cannot able to close on its own. So because of this restoring torque, when we open the door and we take our hand, the door will close automatically because of restoring torque which is stored on the spring. So here also same thing happen. So we can say restoring torque, this develops restoring torque, this develops restoring torque in spring and thin wire. We say that restoring torque as torsional strain. Torsional strain. Okay, a strain is formed. We studied about the stress and strain. Okay, force per area stress, and strain means change in length divided by original length. So here the length is the length of the coil, or we can say the shape of the coil change because of the twisted. So a torsional strain is formed, and we use torsional constant, that is K. K means torsional constant. Torsional constant means how much restoring torque produced, how much produced per degree rotation. So in that pointer, in that galvanometer, per degree rotation, this is 0, this is 1. So the pointer starts to move from here to there. How much torque is produced? That is defined by torsional constant. Okay, how much restoring torque produced per degree rotation. So we can say for 1 degree rotation, twist restoring torque. For 1 degree twist, we have K amount of restoring torque. K means torsional constant. Okay, as I said the definition, torque produced per 1 degree rotation. So for 1 degree rotation, the torque produced is known as torsional constant K. For 2 degree, we have 2K. 3 degree, 3K, right? For 5 degree, we don't know how much degree. Either it is 30 degree, 40 degree, 60 degree. Then we get 5K. Clear? So we can say tau restoring torque will be equal to K5, where K is torsional constant. So in the deflection is more, which means the coil rotates more, then it have more restoring torque, right? So if phi is more, which means it experience more restoring torque. Just as I said, when you open the door fully, then it will shut the door very fast. When you open the door very slightly, then the door will close smoothly, right? So the similar thing happen here. When the deflection is more, which means the needle comes to rest position from very large area, okay, from 0 to 4. Then again it has to go from 4 to 0, mean position. So in order to go from 4 to 0, it should have more restoring torque, right? So when the phi is more, then the restoring torque will also be more. As the coil starts rotating, restoring torque in wire and spring keeps on increasing. At one point, the applied torque due to current. So why torque is produced? Torque is produced because of current supplied, input current. So the applied torque due to current balanced by the restoring torque. So at this position, the torque which is produced by the current is equal to the restoring torque. Okay, so initially the pointer moves from 0 to 4 because of applied current. Okay, because of applied current torque, the torque produced by the applied current. Okay, again it comes to 4 to 0 because of restoring torque. So applied current produces a torque which used to move the pointer from 0 to certain value, which based on the current value. Okay, then again the pointer comes from that particular value, current value, to its mean position 0 because of torque, restoring torque. Okay, so here we can say tau applied, torque applied equal to torque restored. Okay, or we can say restoring torque after deflecting 5 degree. Okay, we get restoring torque only after the deflection. Okay, after it goes to 4, then it have some restoring torque, right? So after deflecting 5 degree. So what's the formula for tau applied? NIA B sin theta. And formula for restoring torque? K5. Okay, so from this equation take the value of I equal to K5 divided by NIB sin theta. So what are the terms constant here? K constant, as I said, K means torsional constant. Okay, N number of turns in the coil constant. Sorry, here we already get I, N, A, B. And A, area of the coil constant, B, magnetic field constant. Okay, so the remaining term is 5 divided by sin theta. Okay, these are the variable because sin theta gets changed. When we change the area of the coil with respect to magnetic field, then our theta will also change. Okay, which we studied in last topic. In first case, we get parallel area. In next case, the area will get change. Okay, so when the area change, we get formula tau equal to MB sin theta. If the area is perpendicular, then we have MB sin 90. Sin 90 value will be 1. Okay, so these two are variable. Phi means the deflection produced in the galvanometer pointer. Okay, it's based on the current value. And sin theta means area, the angle between area and magnetic field. Okay, that is sin theta. So these two are variable. So we can say I directly proportional to phi by sin theta. As I said in the starting of this lecture, our I should be directly proportional to phi, right? This is input, this is output. Okay, but here we have one extra term sin theta. We have to neglect this sin theta in order to get this equation. Our input current is directly proportional to deflection produced in the pointer or deflection produced in the coil. Okay, if I give input of 4 ampere current, then the deflection in the pointer from 0 to 4, it will deflect from 0 to 4, which means the current is 4 ampere, right? Or the current is 0.4 ampere. So this is my input and this is output. So the deflection directly proportional to current. Okay. So to remove sin theta, simply we have to consider the value of theta equal to 90 degree. What's the value of sin 90? Sin 90 will be 1, right? So in order to give sin theta as 1, we give theta as 90 degree, then we can remove the sin theta. Okay, so to remove the sin theta, we use radial magnetic field. Very, very important term.
Copper wire is wounded on a metallic frame which is pivoted from both the ends. The coil is free to rotate about a fixed axis. This whole arrangement consists of two phosphor bronze hair-like springs. The first one is connected to an upper pivoted free end of the coil and second spring is connected to the bottom pivoted free end of the coil. And both of these springs are fixed from the other end by the help of a binding screw. A cylindrical soft iron core is symmetrically positioned inside the coil to improve the strength of the magnetic field and to make the field radial. There is a very important reason for keeping the magnetic field radial, which we will talk about later in this video during the working of a galvanometer. Also, the pointer is mounted on a pivoted coil for measuring the angular deflection in the coil. And two ends of the coil are connected to the two terminals of the galvanometer. Principle of permanent magnet moving coil galvanometer. Permanent magnet moving coil galvanometer works on the principle that current carrying coil placed in a magnetic field experiences a torque. When the current is allowed to pass through the coil, current starts flowing from A to B in the left arm of the coil and from C to D in the right arm of the coil. As we can see in the animation, that in the arm AB, direction of the current is upward, and in the arm CD, direction of the current is downward, while the direction of magnetic field is from north to south for both the arm AB and BC. Therefore, according to the left hand Fleming rule, two couple of forces or torque starts acting on a coil, which will help in rotating of a coil and causes angular deflection of the pointer. At this time, hairspring comes into play and creates counter torque to resist any extra unnecessary deflection or damage of a very sensitive pointer, and always ensures the proper functioning of the galvanometer. Corresponding calibrated scale is provided for converting the angular deflection of a pointer in a microamperes. Now let's try to understand that why this radial magnetic field is needed. Here we have used concave shaped magnets to provide radial magnetic field, but why? Let's explore it. As we all know, equation of the torque in this case is NIAB sin theta, where N represents number of turns, I is the current, and theta is the angle between the magnetic field B and the area vector, which is always normal to the plane of the rectangular coil. It's very clear that sin theta for an angle of 90 degree is always 1. Let's move to the top view and try to analyze it. Now we can see that because of the radial magnetic field, for each and every positions of the coil, magnetic field and the area vector are at right angle, or theta equals 90 degree. Therefore, radial magnetic field provides constant torque irrespective of the rotation of the coil. This makes the deflection directly proportional to the current. Because N, A and B was already constant and now theta also becomes constant, that's why. Now current I is the only variable, which makes it easy to calibrate the instrument for the measuring purpose. Thanks for watching friends. Please don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.
Hope now you understood about why we use radial magnetic field. So in that video it is clearly known that the angle between area and magnetic field always keeps in such that it is right angle. Okay, so the angle here 90 degree. To achieve this, we use radial magnetic field. Okay, and also we use two kinds of system. First one is cylindrical magnet. Because of cylindrical magnet, only we get radial magnetic field. Okay, then we use soft iron core. So because of these two things, we got radial magnetic field. Okay, so soft iron core is a ferromagnetic material. That topic is actually excluded, which we studied in next chapter. Okay, it is deleted. So ferromagnetic material is a type of material which attracts well, which is actually act like a magnet. So that kinds of material increase the magnetic field also. So this soft iron core material increase the magnetic field and it allows all the magnetic field lines pass through it. So because of that, we use soft iron core in between the magnets. Okay, which you just saw in the video. In between the magnet, you have some brown color, that ash color soft iron core. So above this soft iron core, we have that coil. Okay, that brown color copper coil. Right. So in all the situation, our area vector of the coil perpendicular to magnetic field. Okay, so here theta equal to 0. If you substitute theta equal to 0, then we get I k phi NAB sine 90. Okay, the theta is 90 actually. So sine 90 we get I equal to k phi by NAB. So k by NAB is constant, then we get I directly proportional to phi. Okay, so we fulfill our purpose. When we give more current, the coil gets more deflection. The next important point in this topic, sensitivity of galvanometer. So what is meant by sensitivity? If we say a person is sensible person, sensitivity person, what does that mean? If we tease him very smally, okay, we tease him, then he starts to cry. Some of the guys, some of the girls like that, right? So because of that, we call him very sensitive person. So here sensitivity of galvanometer means we give very small amount of current, but the pointer deflected more. We give only small amount of current, the pointer deflected more. So that case is known as sensitivity of galvanometer. Okay, so less current, more deflection. We have two kinds of sensitivity. First one is current sensitivity. Okay, so we say current sensitivity as we give small amount of current for which the pointer deflected more. So deflection per current. Okay, we give small amount of current and the deflection will be more. That is current sensitivity. Okay, so if you put small value in denominator, what will happen? Automatically your left side of the value, left side of the equation will get increase. If the current is small, getting smaller, then what will happen? This value getting increase, right? Or the phi also get increase. So more phi, less current, and my current sensitivity is increase, right? So we give very small current, but the deflection will be more. This is current sensitivity. From this equation, take phi by I. So here we have phi, and this I comes this side, phi divided by I, and this whole term goes to the left hand side of the equation. Then it will become NAB by K. Okay, so phi by I from this equation will be equal to NAB by K. So very important term from this equation, to increase the current sensitivity, to increase current sensitivity, then we have to increase number of turns. So when the number of turns will be more, then what will happen? The current which is flowing through the each turn will be more, and the magnetic field also will be more. So we get more current sensitivity. So number of turns we have to increase. Then the area of coil also get increase. Okay, then the magnetic field also get increase. All the three are interrelated with each other. Magnetic field also get increase. Okay, then torsional constant, it is in denominator, so we have to reduce this value in order to increase this. So our torsional constant must be reduced, right? So with this 4 point we can able to increase the sensitivity. Very important term, they will ask in 1 mark and 2 mark, how to increase the current sensitivity of galvanometer. Okay, we have to increase the number of turns, area of the coil, magnetic field, and we have to reduce the K, torsional constant value. Okay, so to reduce the torsional constant is depends upon the material which we use. Here we use phosphorus material. Okay, phosphorus and bronze and quartz to reduce the torsional constant value. Okay, the material is made up of phosphorus, bronze and quartz material. The next one is voltage sensitivity. Voltage sensitivity is for a given voltage how much deflection produced in the coil. Okay, that is voltage sensitivity. So from Ohm's law, V equal to IR. What is I from that equation? See the previous equation. I equal to K phi divided by NAB, right? This is the equation of I which we used already. Then we have R. So instead of I, substitute that equation K phi by NAB into R. Okay, from this equation take the value of phi by V. Here we have phi. So take this V in the right side of the equation. We get phi by V. And take all the remaining terms to the left side of the equation. So NAB here in denominator, if it is go to left side of the equation, it is in numerator, NAB. And KR in numerator, if it is come here, then it will be in denominator, KR. Okay. So by this, to increase the voltage sensitivity, I write it here, to increase voltage sensitivity, we get the same point. What are them? First one is we have to increase the number of turns and the area of cross section, and then magnetic field. Then we have to reduce the K value, and we have to reduce the resistance, because resistance in denominator, so we have to reduce the resistance. Then we can able to get more voltage sensitivity. We may increase current sensitivity without increasing voltage sensitivity. Very, very important point. Okay, is it really possible? Because in order to increase the current sensitivity, we have to increase the number of turns, area, magnetic field. When we increase the number of turns, area, magnetic field, then automatically voltage sensitivity also increase, right? Why? Because in order to increase both current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity, we have the same terms. We have to increase the number of turns, area, magnetic field. So by increasing number of turns, area and magnetic field, only current sensitivity increase, but the voltage sensitivity remains same. How? Suppose we increase the number of turns, okay? Initially we have n number of turns and we twice the number of turns. Then what will happen? Current sensitivity increase, right? So current sensitivity increase, right? So when the number of turns increase, then what will happen to the resistance? Just think about it. A number of turns means the length of the coil, right? So initially I have one turn. It has certain length, for example 5 centimeter. Then I increase one turn. Then it will increase to 10 centimeter, right? And I increase another one turn. It will increase to 15 centimeter. So when I increase the number of turns, which means actually I'm increasing the length of the coil. Can you able to get my point? When the number of turns increases, which means actually the length of the coil which we wound on the soft iron core get increase. Okay, so when the length get increased, then what will happen to the resistance? Think about the relation. When the length get increased and the resistance also get increase. Why? Because resistance directly proportional to length. Once upon a time we studied this equation, resistance directly proportional to, by this relation, resistance directly proportional to length, inversely proportional to area. So when we increase the number of turns, then the length will increase. When the length will increase, the resistance also increase. Okay, so if my n becomes 2n, then my L also becomes 2L, then my R also becomes 2R. Okay, so by this my voltage sensitivity remains same. Just substitute the value. We have 5 by V here. Okay, 5 by V. I increase 5 by V twice, which means I increase the number of turns into 2n, A, B. So number of turns get increased, then my resistance also will become 2R. So I get K 2R. 2 get cancelled, I get the same value. So my voltage sensitivity remains same. but here actually increase the current sensitivity. Clear? Here we have a simple problem. Two moving coil galvanometer of same type coil. Okay, the coil is made up of same material. Same material means the torsional constant will be same. Okay. So first coil have n number of turns 30 and resistance 10 ohm, area 3.6 into 10 power minus 3 meter square. Magnetic field is 0.25 Tesla. Second coil, in second moving coil galvanometer, we have 40 turns, 14 ohm resistance and 3.6 same area value and same magnetic field. We have to find the ratio of current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity for M2 and M1. Okay, for second coil galvanometer to first galvanometer, we have to find the ratio of current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity. So what is the formula for current sensitivity? Phi by I, right? So we have to find the ratio from 2 to 1. So phi by I by 2, ratio phi by I of first galvanometer, right? So this is the ratio between 2 to 1. Okay, current sensitivity ratio. So what is the formula for phi by I? This is for second moving coil galvanometer. So N2, A2, B2 divided by K2. This is the formula for phi by I. Okay, for second galvanometer divided by first galvanometer N1, A1, B1 divided by K1. Okay, substitute all the value. What is N2? N2 is 40 turns, A2 3.6 into 10 power minus 3, B2 0.25 Tesla divided by K2. K2 is not given, but it is given as same wire. So same wire means K1 and K2 both are equal, so both get cancelled. Okay, divided by N1, A1, B1. What is N1? Number of turns in first coil, 30 turns. So 30 into A1 same 3.6 into 10 power minus 3, and B1 same 0.25 Tesla. So these two get cancelled. Then we have 40 by 30. Actually number of turns is 42 in N2. So 42 by 30. Then we get 1.4. The ratio is 1.4 for current sensitivity. Similarly, find the value of voltage sensitivity. Phi by V for second MCG, phi by V for first MCG. What's the formula for voltage sensitivity? N2, A2, B2 divided by K2 R2. Okay, by N1, A1, B1 divided by K1 R1. Okay, so substitute all the value. We have both resistance value. For resistance 1, 10 ohm, second resistance 14 ohm. Okay, substitute all the value, then you will get the ratio. Okay, find it and post it in group. This is all about chapter 4.